Good day, everyone. I'm Parmis Katibi, President of California Women's Association. We are delighted to have Tenessa Audette with us today for Hold My Coffee. I've got an election to win. Tenessa, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so delighted to hear about you. We know that you're the mayor of Redding. I know Redding is way, way far up north in California. But tell us, first of all, tell us about Redding a little bit, the city that you are currently mayor of.
So Redding has a population of about 100,000. We are in Shasta County. We're the county, the seat of the county. So we have, in a county of maybe 180,000 people, we're the largest city inside of it. There are 3 incorporated cities that make up Shasta County. The rest are unincorporated, and we have a pretty low median income, but we have a very highly motivated electorate. So in the last presidential cycle, we had 80% of voter turnout. So we have a lot of engaged people. Just about everybody that's elected up here is a Republican.
Oh.
So you really get the full spectrum of what the Republican Party has, sort of the issues that are within it, good and bad. But I grew up in LA. I was born in North Hollywood. And so it is a very interesting dynamic. Far right in LA is, you want lower taxes. But in Northern California, it is the full spectrum. So you actually get people that, are somewhat anarchists and love their country and just don't want to be messed with. I'll knock on doors and there will be NRA and Planned Parenthood stickers. So, I mean, you can't really make sense of it. Most people up here, Democrat and Republican, all own guns, but they're divided on abortion issues. So it's a mixed bag of a lot of things, but it's a safe Republican seat, which means if for us up here, we can articulate our messages better that can be then discussed in other districts where it's not so safe to discuss those issues.
That is an advantage to have up there. Let me ask you, first of all, the mayor of Redding. First of all, tell us about that decision. How long have you been the mayor of Redding, and what actually made you decide to run for mayor and then now run for state assembly?
So I have been running political campaigns for the last 8.5 years. So I have been on the other side of that, campaign managing as a mom with 3 kids. Creating my own schedule for campaigning was a great way for me to be involved. But I do the scheduling. And so it really afforded me to pick them up, to drop them off to school, to do sports, but also really get to be engaged in something that I'm passionate about. And so I've been doing that for a very long time. But up here, after the 2020 election, things got incredibly heated. Then you had COVID, and you had just a bunch of angry people that really didn't know where to channel that anger or where to fight, where the battles were. Is it at the state? Is it the federal level? Is it locally? Who can I get angry with? What elected can I sacrifice on the altar of this just isn't right, what's happening in our country? And so I was, approaching people to run for office. They didn't want to do it. And many of them would say, like, well, why don't you do it? Well, you're making the argument. Why don't you do it? And you at some point you come to that decision of like, you can't really talk about it anymore. Sometimes you just have to step up and do it. And so I just wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid of the right. I've never been afraid of the left. I don't fight people. I fight ideas all the time. And so I just felt like it was the right time. I had the confidence to do it. I had the knowledge to do it. And there really wasn't anything in my way anymore. I had no excuses. And so I decided to run. I ran for city council. The mayorship is a rotating mayor. So I was elected in this last year. So that I just began my term as mayor.
Wow. So let me ask you, what was the conversation like with your family and you having young kids that you're going to run for office? Were they very supportive? Were they had no idea what that was about? What was your thoughts about it?
This right now is my 12th campaign.
Oh,
So from the time that I have teenagers now. So from the time my youngest was 5 years old, he's been walking campaigns with me. So I've had them walk on every campaign I've ever been a part of. I've had them either coming to an event, they have to walk, they have to knock doors, they have to understand the real work of actually communicating to people. So when it was time for me to run, they were like, yeah, it's about time. like they knew that
Wow.
that was coming. And, you know, listen, let's just be honest. Candidates are a mixed bag and they're a lot of work. And so I will say I'm my favorite client that I've ever had. And my kids think so too, because there is no haggling. It's like, this is what we're doing and we're going to go do it.
Wow. That
and
is
so it's
awesome.
been fun.
Because I one thing I know, they don't teach civic education in schools
Nope.
anymore. And it
No.
is such a detriment to do that to kids, to not have them understand American civics, what America is really, and how we are where we are. And so the fact that you did that, have kind of had your kids be part of your campaigns, it's fabulous, because that kind of ingrains it in them, because they grow up, they know more about American civic society than most kids know, and they know the importance of what it means to be an American, our freedoms, and all the things that are so important to us that we're blessed to have in this country. So that is awesome to hear that the kids are involved. Now, with the kids being
Well,
involved, though, does it make the balancing your campaign life and family life more difficult, or are they more self-sufficient now, where they're like, okay, mom, we'll see you when you win office?
yeah, totally. Well, so one is in college in Florida. So she's on her own right now. And then I have a sophomore who just started driving, and that's key. Carpool is difficult when you have 11. So this district is 28,000 square miles. So it is 11 counties. Like imagine driving from, San Diego to LA. I mean, that's sometimes it's 7 hours, the
Yeah.
whole span of my district to go district from one side to the other. So I'm at the Oregon border and below Sacramento,
That
and into Tahoe. So I'm up in the mountains. So it's a massive district. And then my youngest, he's 14 and he's in 8th grade, and it's probably better that I don't always know what he's doing, for his sanity and mine. But I will say one of the benefits I think of doing the hard work of local campaign action is that my kids, I don't want them to ever believe that these elections are fixed, that they're rigged, that the person who's going to win is already predetermined by rich people somewhere else. And the fact, because I do think that what we need to do is kind of come up against this, it's already determined, and actually get people that are willing to do the work to earn the votes, to earn people's trust, to go talk to the constituency. I've probably knocked on 50,000 doors in my career.
Mhm.
And the benefit of that is that you're constantly getting feedback. And elected officials, if they don't want to get feedback, they can avoid it. They can be criticized, but knocking on that door, people are going to tell you what really matters to them. And my kids have had the benefit of listening to what people actually care about in politics and seeing how we can make a difference. And knowing that you can come from LA, only live somewhere for 10 years, be a woman, be in her 40s, and actually get on a city council that doesn't have, much more than people that are either at retirement age or above, and certainly don't have little kids with them. So
Exactly. You're
yeah, we're breaking all the myths.
exactly. No, fresh of breath there. That's what is needed in that area, 100%. Let me ask you, you used to work on campaigns and now you're in front of campaigns per se. What has the difference been, or what surprised you about now being the candidate versus working for a candidate?
Well, I think when you're the candidate, there's just that process that you go through to really hone your message, figure out exactly, there's so much information that you have, but how do you determine what that thing is that you're going to say at that one time to that one person? And so it's really listening,
Mm,
and then in general, not allowing yourself to be distracted by other people's campaigns, not to be distracted by what other people can do, and not to assume that you're going to solve everybody's issue.
no,
Like, I don't think government is the solution to everything, but the premise of every question is, what are you going to do? And I always want to say, how about what I'm not going to do? How about that I'm not going to mess with our markets and screw up
exactly.
another industry in California and drive more of our middle class out? So it takes some discipline. Of course, the hardest part is always asking for money, and trying to discuss value. I come from business. I want to exchange something. I want it to be transactional. I want you to feel value for what you're getting. But really what you're investing in is the future of your state. And as difficult as it is to believe that one person can make a difference, it has to start with one.
Exactly. And it's so interesting you said about money, because I think as women, we just so hate asking for money.
Ugh,
And I had one time someone just said, get over it and ask. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, just gonna get over it and ask. And it's surprising,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard. So, at CWLA, we are working on building a network of support for women leaders. And I'd like to know if there was any women that helped you on your journey, or that was really a big mentor for you.
Yeah, my first campaign, I was an intern for a woman who was a nurse practitioner running for city council, and she did an 18-month campaign for city council. She wanted to be very prepared, and so I started as her intern, and by the last 3 months, I became her campaign manager. She went through two others because nobody could really keep up with her. She wanted the pace to be hard. She wanted to cover everything, and I'm the only one that could sort of keep up with that. But what she did is I had my degrees in political science. I am a maven for information, and she allowed me to try things. So anytime I had an idea, she'd be like, "Okay, let's see if it'll work," and she'd let me do it. And then she'd give me whatever resources I needed to be successful at that. And right now I sit on the city council with her, and she continues to be just that voice of like, of course you can do this. When I told her I'm thinking about running, she was like, oh, it's about time. I've been telling you this from the beginning. And I'm like, well, thanks for still telling me. But has donated and we'll do a fundraiser and we'll discuss this, and just is never intimidated or offended or never competes with me. It's like, you be amazing, I'll be amazing, and the better you are, the better we all are. And that has been such an example to me of working hard, being the first person to something, the last person to something, never giving off something that I can do, but always allowing other people to be their best. So she's been an incredible example, still is.
I love that. I love that. What a great mentor to have. And like, talking about your next phase of your leadership journey, you're running for state assembly. What made you have that decision to go to that next level to represent Reading in Sacramento?
Yeah, so I teach a class on the Constitution. So I teach a class called God and Government at Bethel School of Ministry. And I'm in my 6th year of teaching that. And I say all the time, like, I'm in the class that I wish I would have had. And I take notes. I have 20 guests that come in from all different sectors that influence government, from business, from nonprofits, just anybody and everybody that affects our local government. And what I say all the time is, I'm a student of this. And honestly, what it comes down to is, I also want great representation. And so I want to be the representative that I don't feel like I've had. Not that we haven't had good ones, because we have, and everybody has their strengths. But I feel like we've been on the defense in our conservatism, and the free market benefits everybody. The beauty of our Constitution is it isn't just for Christians. It isn't just for, our Jewish folks. It just isn't just for Muslims, or just isn't for atheists. It just isn't for one person. It's literally so that you have the right to self-discovery, to figure out what that pursuit of happiness is going to look like for you. And we're here to protect everybody in that endeavor. And I feel like we've picked people to win and lose. We've messed in the marketplace, and it is a loser for everybody when the government overextends itself. And so I really want to be the representative. I say all the time, like, I want to raise the level of expectation of what representation can look like. And I just feel like it takes every ounce of a person to do it well, but it can never be about you. And I'm not sure that mothers don't know more, and women don't know more than anything else, where everything we do is for somebody else. We're never going to get credit, and we don't care as long as they actually succeed. And I feel the same way about government. Like, that's what a representative does. They come in, they assess what's going on, they assess the need, and who's best suited to do it. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, it isn't going to be the government.
Wow. Girl, can we clone you? There's a bunch of other districts I would like to have you in. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
No,
Yes. I
very
mean, that's the
welcome.
goal. That would be the goal, is that we mentor, is that we train, is that we empower. I mean, this is the beauty of the gospel, is that it literally just empowers you. It takes away anything that gets in the way, any victim mentality that says you can't overcome this or that something is not possible. And it's the same in our government. Like, we're supposed to believe that all things are possible. That's what the pursuit of happiness is. The government guarantees that your life is protected, that your property, your intellectual property, your physical property, and your person are protected. And then you just go pursue your dreams. And we'll
I
stay out of the way.
And that's the beauty. That is the beauty. So as we're wrapping this up, Tenessa, is there one piece of advice that you generally give to women who are looking to putting themselves out there to become leaders, who maybe like you were like saying, no, you should run. And everyone's like saying, no, look at yourself, you should run.
Yeah. I would say I don't really have to tell women to be prepared, but be prepared. Like, prepare yourself, because what if you have confidence? I say confidence is the it factor. If you have confidence in what you're doing, you will attract the people necessary to get to the next level. But you have to believe in what you're doing and why you're doing it. Know your why. Know what it is that you're capable of doing. Don't overextend. Don't believe that there's more. That confidence of what you're doing and why is what will drive you, and it is what will bring what you need to succeed.
Wow, that is very beautifully said. Very beautiful said. Tenessa, thank you. It has been such a joy getting to know you a little bit. I can't wait for all of our members to know about you. I know sometimes we're focused like Sacramento and South. We don't
Yes.
think but you
Guilty.
but you
Guilty. I
can
mean,
be a
that's where the
shining
population
light.
is.
You can
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
shining light for anything north of Sacramento. We're like,
yeah.
Tenessa's the person. So
Yes,
I love this. We're not only bringing attention to Reading and who you are in that area, because we love to shine about strong, confident women who are running for office, making a difference in their communities, and then for our state, because our state definitely needs a change. So
yes.
we will definitely be following your race for assembly, and we will be sharing all of our conversations on all our social media and YouTube channels, because we'd love people to know about you. Even if they can't vote for you, there's so many ways they can support you by
Yes.
getting the message out there, donating. There's so many ways to do that. So we really appreciate you and your time.
Thank you